How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the podcast here at Celestia Radio. It's Matthias with Dalit and Nat. And yeah, how are you guys doing?
G'day everyone, going well?
My life is a fantasy.
Yeah,
It is work or metaphor. And it frustrates me because metaphor on paper is a whole lot of things I don't like. But in practice, fuck me, it has just taken over all the free time that I have. It's really good.
It's truly just a better Persona game, huh?
Oh, 100%.
Honestly, yeah. It really does kind of feel that way. I'm in the same boat, and Dalit knows it because we've been DMing back and forth about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had work to take up my time, so I've just been fully absorbed and farming mindlessly as I have just done all the things.
The JRPG grind, love it.
It's really not that bad in this game. It's stunningly efficient.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
It's so smooth. It's so easy. It's so nice. It's great. I'll say this about it. Luck, great stat. I love
Wait, luck is actually good in an Atlas game?
Yeah, don't sleep on luck. Second thing is I could go finish the game right now if I wanted. That's where I am in the game, but I'm just running around having a blast of time doing whatever. So it's great. But we're not here to talk about metaphor. That's later. We'll save that for later because what we're talking about today, funny enough, will not be the first time I talk about it today. I've had this conversation come up twice today, and I'm like, why has this come up twice on the same day? I know I'm recording this episode, so it's funny. But you see, we're going to talk about traveling. Specifically, like, what we want to do, our, like, I guess, travel dreams and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like a good place to start that kind of discussion is if there is any, traveling background for all of us. If I had to assume, I hope my friends don't completely think an ass of me for making these assumptions. If I were to rank us on least traveled to most traveled, it would go Nat, me, Dalit.
I would assume Dalit would be first.
That was least to most.
Oh, least to most. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know.
I think
going off of how split my family is in the world, I would suspect that's probably the case. Nat's younger than us, but not by a bunch, so I thought there was maybe a chance he took off. But I mean, Australia is a lot like America in the fact that it's so big, you can just travel around your own country without having to leave.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been to New South Wales, but not in Sydney. I've been to Tasmania, but not Hobart, and I've been to Melbourne before.
Fantastic. I love that you named like two spots. Like, yeah, I know there's two spots. And then you promptly said, but not the two spots you're familiar with. Yeah, fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah.
I figured a lot of Nat's traveling was, very relegated to Australia.
Oh yeah.
And that it was probably like visiting family and things like that.
Yep.
Were not immediately next door kind of thing.
That's correct, the Mundo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much been my travels, more or less.
I mean, my travels are actually pretty similar. Again, my family's just spread out over a greater distance. I almost exclusively travel for my family. I do not have now, nor have I ever had, the disposable income to travel for travel for travel's sake. Which is a shame, because my family...
Travel pleasures.
The rest of my family kind of talks about growing up when they did, having the disposable income to go to all these places. But no, a lot of my travel's been traveling around the U.S., both East and West Coast for family, down to Florida for family, and through the Caribbean for family. It's always for family. It's always for either family business or just
Yeah.
because we haven't seen each other in well too long. But I mean, it is
Yeah.
the width and breadth of America and down into the Caribbean. So it's a good little ways. I have family
Mhm.
that have visited me from the EU. I guess technically it's not the EU anymore, but oh no, it's Ireland. Yeah, from the EU, but I have not visited them. So
So I think just by the fact that you have been like out of states into Caribbean kind of is what makes it to where you've traveled more than
sure,
I.
sure, sure, sure.
Because all of my traveling is relegated to the United States. I've been to, I want to say almost 40 of the 50 states. Like,
Oh
I've been
damn.
to a very large portion of them. But I think, as I've said in the past on the podcast at some point or another, maybe I haven't, I don't know. I grew up, my family was, when I was younger, when I was real young, my family was, I won't say like, we weren't, you know, top percent. We weren't rich by any means, but we were very well off. We were very comfortable. We never really had to worry about finances in
Mhm.
any way, shape, or form. So it part of the bonus to that was when we wanted to take a trip, we could. Um, and back then, my mom never really thought much to traveling outside of the states. Now, recently, as she's gotten older, she's been like, "Oh, I kind of want to see some places out of the states." And I'm like, "Why didn't you have these once when when I was younger and we were financially able to do these things? That'd been cool." Uh, but no, we like, and then on top of that, my mom and stepdad used to travel for work, and I think my stepdad's been to 49 states, and my mom's 47. So
I
they've almost
mean,
been to every state.
I'll say this. I retract my statements. I actually think you're the best traveled of us. I might have gone out of country, but I think by saying you've been to 40 states,
That's
and
a
this comes up a
lot.
lot with, yeah, it comes up a lot with Americans who have not left America, and more specifically, non Americans who have never been to America. I feel like people don't understand the amount of travel that entails. You
Yeah.
have been to 40 different countries. Like,
Um,
I'm not joking. Like, sure, it's one gigantic culture of America, but America is not one gigantic culture. It's not a monolith.
Yeah.
Every state is a country anywhere else in the world. You
that's
have
fair.
done a tremendous amount of traveling. You've seen a tremendous amount of, granted, American history, but historical locations, and you've ingested 40 states worth of culture. That is very impressive. And that would make you, if imagine saying, I have traveled to 40 countries.
I guess
Yeah.
that's fair. I guess if you look at it that way, yeah, I guess that's fair. Um, I'll say like for a lot of the states and things I've been to, I haven't done like the big thing you would expect to for those states. Like, trying to think of like a good example right off the top of my head. Um, oh, what state is it? The Grand Canyon's in.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person here. Dollet?
I'm hoping Dalit knows.
I was hoping to
Is it
hear Nat
Oregon?
struggle to figure this out.
Oh no, no thanks. I'm good. Grand Canyon? Isn't
It's in it.
is in the
Go ahead.
middle of America? Grand Canyon?
No, it's much closer to where I am. It's in Arizona. It's in the
Okay,
south. It's in the
Oh,
Arizona.
southwest.
Okay,
my answer
so yeah,
was Oregon. So
I mean, to be fair, in the grandest of grand scheme of things, you're not that far away.
oh
I
hey,
wouldn't
let's
want to
go.
have to walk, but I mean, like you're on the right side of America.
Hey, let's go.
so I've been to Arizona. I have not been to the Grand Canyon. I've been so that like
Right.
that's a good example. I've not done a lot of the big things in a lot of states you can think of.
Yeah.
And most of the states that have like really big things to see or do, I actually haven't, or are actually some of the states I haven't been to. Like I've not been to California. I've not been to. I've never been to like Washington, so I haven't been able to go to Seattle and see like the Space Needle. I haven't been to most of the northeastern states, so like I haven't been to New York or Maine. Um, and then I haven't been to Hawaii or Alaska. Alaska is the one state my entire that like me, my mom and stepdad, none of us have been to. That's the one state my stepdad hasn't been
Oh,
to.
I mean, that makes sense. I was thinking Hawaii, but I wasn't actually thinking about Alaska, and Alaska makes way, well more sense, to be honest.
I don't remember the reason. I think it was because of work that he ended up over in Hawaii for whatever reason. I think maybe I have it backwards. No, I'm pretty sure I have it right. It's been a
I'd
long
be
time since I've actually
surprised
been.
if it was Hawaii over Alaska. Whilst technically Hawaii's a little bit further away, I I'm sorry, Alaskans in the chat. I'm not sure what you go to Alaska to do. Like
Fair,
I it
and
is it
and
is it is beautiful, and there's like I can imagine hiking and camping and just all things outdoors are immaculate there because it's been the least amount of fucked by America as most states. But I just everyone who I've met from Alaska seems to be so happy to not be there anymore.
and that's kind of why I think it's Alaska he hasn't been to, because the work that him and my mom used to do was like phone work. They used to do cables for telephone companies and things like that. So I know there's a lot. There's far more big cities I think in Hawaii's islands. So a lot more precedent for that kind of work there.
Mm-hmm.
So like even when like my family wasn't traveling, there were times um, when like me and my oldest sister would just if they were like somewhere nearby, like within like a 4 or 5 state drive, like kind of thing, like in the 4 or 5 states around us, kind of thing, we would she would check me out of school on like a Thursday, and me and her would go see my mom and stepdad, and we'd spend the weekend up there where they're working or whatever. And there were
Oh,
other
that's cool.
times when other like there were times when both of my sisters and my grandmother went up to see them when they were in like Ohio or somewhere working, and I went to my dad's for seeing some family that was in town at the time, and I didn't go. But and then also like when like I remember I've always known I love to travel, and traveling is something I wanted to like always continue to do in my life. Um because what is it? So between my mom and my stepdad and like that family, uh, and all the traveling they did, I also had my dad, who worked, who predominantly is a mechanic or was a mechanic, but he also worked on like race cars, like NASCAR race car, that kind of thing. Motorsports. That's the word I was
Raise
having
hail,
trouble.
praise Dale.
Yeah. So he used to travel a lot to do that because he was on a team doing I think he
Oh yeah, that
was.
would do it.
So yeah, I and there were when I was with him on weekends, sometimes I would go with him um to watch races. While he worked, I was sitting in the pits watching the races. My uncle Donald used to do not like the major NASCAR, but like the I guess what would be the minor league motorsports. I don't know. I don't remember the terminology. I was way too young to ever learn it, and I never
Sure,
remember
sure.
memorized it. But so I
Minor
mean,
league
that's who.
motorsports.
Yeah. So I mean, I was all the time gone with them. So no matter where I was or which parent I was with, it was always traveling to some degree. So I've always loved to travel. And like one of my like favorite memories is a trip that my that me it was a big trip because it was my mom, my stepdad, myself, my grandmother, and I think two of my aunts went with us. Uh, and we went from where we live, from Florida, all the way to Montana, and then circled back around like the opposite side of the country to come back. Because we were going up to Montana because I had family that lived there at the time. And so we
That
took
is a
this ride.
hefty trip now that I think about it.
Yeah, and it was over the summer. So, like, because this was a long trip. So it was over the summer. So I didn't have to miss that much school. Um, because we went up. So Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. We didn't really do anything too major in any of those stops, especially Mississippi and Louisiana. We did, I think, stop in one of the big cities in Texas for a day. Uh, then we went up to. I might be getting this all really wrong because this was a long time ago. This was the summer before my fifth grade in elementary school. Um, I guess in terms for like European, it'd be my fifth year in grade school. Is that how that works? Because I know they use different names for schools.
Uh,
Um,
don't worry about it.
yeah. Anyways, um, so then we went through New Mexico and went to a place called Carlsbad Caverns. Um,
Yeah.
I really, really hate that we did that then because I think I've said this on the cast multiple times. Young Matt was an absolute coward. He was scared of everything. Um, so yeah, the big caves. Yeah, I didn't do so hot in the big caves. Um,
I
so I
mean,
didn't
I
really get
don't
to
blame
enjoy
you.
that. I didn't really get to enjoy that. Now thinking about back about it now, I'm like, oh, that was so cool. I want to re-experience that. Um, then we went to Yellowstone. Like I'm that because yeah, so we went to Yellowstone. We were in Yellowstone for a day or two. We got to see Old Faithful.
That puts
That
you
was really
in
cool.
Wyoming, I guess?
Yeah, I can't remember where Yellowstone is. That's why I was like, oh, maybe I'm getting this really wrong. But
No,
I
you've
think
you've
that
you've gone in order. I mean,
okay.
you went you went Alabama, Miss, Texas, New Mexico. You skipped over Denver, which I'm not surprised you all didn't find much to do in Denver, given that
Yeah,
you were traveling. And then yeah, Wyoming for Yellowstone. So
yeah,
your
okay.
path makes sense.
So then from Yellowstone, it was pretty much straight shot into Montana
Yeah.
and the rock is it the Rockies? Is that the Rockies or the Rockies the mountains over in Tennessee? I can never remember.
Oh no, this would be the Rocky Mountains. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm terrible at geography.
Hey man, I
um,
literally have the fucking United States world map up on my screen just so I actually know what the fuck you're talking
Keep up a
about.
little bit. Yeah, fair
Yeah,
yeah, that's
play
fair.
to
That's
you.
fair.
so
So,
you know.
so yeah, we went up straight to Montana into the Rockies, and we spent like a week in Montana because, like I said, we were visiting family. That was a really fun week. We didn't live. We stayed. I can't remember the name of the actor, but he played Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
Viggo
Oh,
Mortensen?
Yeah, he had a house like an hour away from where we were staying. We got to drive past it.
oh,
Past it.
nice.
Oh, neat. I didn't
Uh,
know that about him. Fair enough.
yeah, I don't know if he still does or whatever, but like yeah, he did at the time. So that was pretty cool. And we kind of just drove by like the gate because you couldn't obviously see the house
Mm-hmm.
where we were, but we drove by the gate, which was kind of cool. But yeah, we were there for like a week. And just kind of spending time in the mountains. Had a great experience where my stepdad, uncle, and aunt tried to get us eaten by a bear. That was cool.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. Was
As you
that
because we're
do.
your like coming of age fucking ritual, some shit like that?
no, that was we went on a hike. It was a nice like little nature hike thing. And we're going back towards the vehicle, so we've already like done the majority of it, which it was really really fun because we went up and we had one of the it went over those like rope swing bridges, the ones that like sway like a lot, but intentionally when you walk over them.
Yeah.
Um, and I was an awful child. I waited until my mom was out on the bridge.
And you start
Like
fucking rocking it.
I started rocking the shit
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
the worst.
Oh, my mom and my grandmother were like, "You just wait until we get onto the other side of that bridge. You're dead."
And Matt
And I
got
was like,
beaten that afternoon.
I don't care. This is hilarious. I was having a blast. No fear whatsoever. My one of like my aunt, my stepdad, they were all laughing, but my mom and grandma were just
No, I imagine not.
furious.
As someone who isn't great with heights, I don't think a rope bridge would have made me uncomfortable so much as like being at, like I couldn't go rock climbing. But as someone who is like
Yeah.
under certain circumstances not great with heights, fuck that, you little shit.
But that was a really fun little like nature trail. There was like a nice waterfall and like stream we got to see and hang out by for a little bit. It was cool. But on the way back to our vehicles, we're going down this trail like through the woods. And then we're kind of like at this like at a slope on our like left side as we're walking and going like uphill.
Hmm.
And my uncle points out, I think it was my uncle that pointed it out, or maybe my aunt. Oh, look, there's a bear.
What bear was it?
And it's just a black bear.
Oh, just punch in the face. Or run away.
No, you don't. Even small bears, you really don't want to fight.
It wasn't a fully grown black bear either, I don't think. If memory serves correctly, but it was a black bear, and at first we're all like, "Oh, okay, it's a bear," because it's way up on the hill, right? And so we're like, "No big deal." It's we're walking down this trail. It's not even paying us any attention. No big deal. Then my uncle, my stepdad, my uncle's wife, um, all start going, come here, clapping their hands, trying to get its attention. And young me has just said, nah, screw that. And I just start booking it towards where we're parked down this trail. My mom, grandmother, and my other aunt like behind me, but I'm like way ahead of them. And then I'm booking it. And then I hear my mom yell behind me, "What if that bear cuts down in front of you, Matthew?" And I just freeze. And I'm like, I didn't think of that. And I'm just frozen there until they catch up, and then they convince me to keep going to the car, and we get there, and then like 30 minutes later, my stepdad and uncle and all of them get there, and they're like, the bear wouldn't come to us. We're like, oh, okay. We went to another national park. I think it was Glacier National Park while we were there.
Oh, you went to the most northern part of Montana then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bro was about to
That's where-
fucking cross the border into Canada.
Yeah, but like, you were practically in Canada.
Yeah, we like that's not like that was only like a 4-hour drive from where my uncle lived at the time, I think. In fact, I think technically we weren't like the town we were staying in where the motel wasn't actually in Montana. We had to go across the state line to get to a town where the
So you were just in Alberta.
yeah, but like my uncle and them were like in the mountains in Montana, but that was like the closest town to them for us to stay in. Um and we went to like their cabin they had up there and like ate there one night. Had I like we went in they're cooking up dinner. We're sitting in the cabin and they served dinner and I'm sitting with my mom and it was a roast. And we're sitting here eating this roast. And me and my mom are like, she's like, "This is good, isn't it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is really good." And we're both just digging in, enjoying this. And after we finish, my uncle and his wife are like, "So yeah, that was bear, by the way.
Nice.
You just ate roast bear."
So, oh man, that would make me nervous as an adult because I know bear is super edible, but I also know they have a particular parasite that can get into them that is fuck all lethal to us. It will kill you.
Yeah, I didn't know that as a kid. None of us knew that. I don't know if my uncle and them knew that. To be honest with you, I don't even know if my uncle would have cared. He probably would have ate it
I mean,
anyways,
I've seen
knowing
plenty
how
of
he
people
was.
eat bear, so it's common enough. It's just you wouldn't catch Joel at doing it. Nope.
But
Bear.
I'll tell you this: that was the best roast I've ever had. It was incredible. That was good meat.
Nice.
Damn, I'm surprised because, to my knowledge, even if you don't know about the parasite, most people cook bear like well done, well done.
So
It was
it's
a
just
roast,
tough.
like you, yeah, like it was a roast, like you would do like roast beef or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So it was
it was
like
good.
nice and tender and all that instead of
Oh
just
yeah,
tough.
like almost melts
Hmm.
in your mouth. It was good.
Interesting.
We did end up leaving Montana after being there about a week, and then we like did the long way around. Um, and we went by Mount Rushmore. Got to see that, which was really cool. That's
Right.
something I really wish I could see again because I liked it then. I thought it was really cool. But I'm like, oh, I would appreciate this so much more now. Like actually getting to see like the history and stuff like that to it.
Right.
Um, I think that was the only like really notable thing we did on the way back. We just kind of went through some cities and other places. We almost added like an extra day or two to our trip so that we could go through New York, like go around that way and come down. But I think like my stepdad got a call or something that new jobs were about to come in. They had to go back like a little sooner than they thought, so we didn't add any more time to the trip and just kept coming home. Um, Oh, and also on the way up there, like to Montana, we went when we were going through New Mexico. We passed the town that is like supposedly the closest, or not supposedly, it is the closest town to where Area 51 is.
Oh,
Oh,
I
shit.
don't remember.
I know
I don't
that's
all
remember the
these
name.
other places. I don't know this very obvious one that
oh,
everyone
I know
knows.
what you're talking about because I've seen videos of it, but it's
I don't
like
remember the name of it.
it's like the town only has like what a couple hundred people population or a couple
Yeah, it's
thousand.
not a big town. It's
Yeah,
not a
it's
big
yeah,
town.
it's tiny as shit. Um,
We went through it, and man, they they were very proud of being so close to Area 51 and all of the
They make a
aliens in Area
lot of
Area
money.
51 thing.
They make
Yeah,
a
because there was
lot of
like
money doing that.
alien, like little green men memorabilia everywhere.
yeah,
And I'm not gonna lie, I think we were like going through it and they were having some kind of like
festival.
fair, yeah, like
Hmm.
festival or fair or something. So there's also kind of people like wearing like little alien costumes with big balloons and everything. And again, young Matt was so easily scared of the dumbest stuff. I was just like, these people, they frighten me. Please, let's get out of
Well,
this town
okay,
now.
hold on. To be fair, those people should frighten you, just not physically.
Fair. Yeah, no, that's very fair.
Yeah, man. You gotta
Roswell,
have those
Roswell, New
fucking
Mexico.
alien brainwaves.
Roswell, yeah.
I got there. Brain kicked in. It took a very long time to do it, though.
Yeah. So passed through that. But then on the way back, yeah, it was pretty the biggest thing we did on the way back was Mount Rushmore. And then we just,
What's that?
passed through
South Dakota, or is that's
South
not in
Dakota.
Montana, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's South Dakota, yeah. And so yeah, then we went from South Dakota, and then kind of like curved down like through
Iowa.
I think we like curved down through Iowa and then went through Tennessee and down. Because I think we went through Memphis on the way back. So I can't remember exactly.
Good
But
times.
that trip was, forever ingrained in my memory. And in fact, uh in recent times my family's been, up in this year is the first year in 4 years, 3 years. That was the fourth year, and so, but for the 3 years prior, my family has done a family vacation again because we've gotten to that point where we're stable and we'll take like a weekend or a week and do a family vacation every year. Nothing really major or big. All three times or whatever have been, we just go up to Gatlinburg in Tennessee and we just spend the weekend in a cabin. Um, just where it's nice, it's cool, it's you got the rivers and just it's pretty. So like it's not like we're doing anything like like truly like expending like finances. So it's small trips, but we've been able to do things like that. This is the first year we haven't in a little while. I've been like trying to tell my family, I'm like, hey, we should just not do the family trip for a year or two, save up that money, and recreate that like long road trip we did.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like I'm like, even when like we don't even have to, instead of staying in Montana a week because my uncle, that uncle has passed away, and so like I don't have any family that lives there anymore. So it's just like instead of doing that, let's just alter the trip a little bit and hit the other like really cool sightseeing things on the way. Like
Hmm.
maybe go out of our way to see the Grand Canyon and then go up to the mountains in Montana or whatever, and then that kind of thing. I've been trying to convince him of that. My mom was just like, "That sounds like an awesome idea." And my sisters were like, "Yeah, but there's a lot more of us now, and that would be more than one vehicle." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Sure.
And they're like, "Do you want to try and communicate between these crazy people and multiple vehicles?" And I'm like, "No, but I will."
Just use the
Uh,
walkie-talkie.
right? So, I've always uh I've like traveling has just been ingrained into me from a young age. I love traveling. In fact, I think when I was younger, I used to sleep better like in motels and hotels and just like these like different places like that than I ever did like in my own bed. Like I was just I loved going and seeing and those kind of things.
Yeah.
No, I definitely appreciate that. So,
So I've always been a fan of traveling. And then, did a lot of it when I was younger. Then I didn't travel like at all for a long time. My family's financial situation completely 180'd. And then it was incredibly unfeasible, even more so. And things have repaired in the last few years, slowly and progressively. So like we've been able to do those small trips up to the mountains, and I've taken a few other trips for like I went to Stone Mountain or whatever in Georgia for my brother's bachelor party. We went up there for a hiking trip. Um, just most of the traveling outside of the family trip has been because of my brother's wedding and things like that. But
Yeah.
right, right.
Nice.
so yeah, it was always something I did when I was younger, and in recent years that love and
Appreciation.
appreciation and passion to see things
Mm-hmm.
has like there's been just this fire burning in me to just go and see and do again. I want to see the rest of the things I never really got to see here in the States for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of the things I want to do are outside of the States at this point. But there's plenty here in the States too.
Oh, we'll get outside of our countries very fucking soon. We'll
But
talk
yeah,
about
it
it.
was but yeah, it was because of that. I was like, this is a topic we we have to talk about. I
Hmm.
love traveling. I love the thought of traveling, and I think it's something we can talk about and should talk about.
Well,
So
we spent
yeah,
30 minutes doing it, so you were
I mean,
absolutely
Yeah.
yeah,
right.
I guess you're right. I probably do have the most travel experience in that regard, huh?
Yeah, pretty
Hmm.
much.
So, um, yeah, like Nat said, before we really talk about outside our country traveling things, is there anything inside our countries we still want to see and do?
Um.
But while you think, yes, absolutely. Again, like it cannot be understated. I think America Bad is such like a big thought for so many people. They forget America is 3,000 miles across. The USA and Canada are a continent. So there's
Yeah.
so much I would like to do.
The USA,
I
Canada, and Mexico are a continent, technically.
Well, when he said America,
y-
I just assume he meant both North and South America. But yeah,
North America is bloody huge, and I would
yeah,
love to travel across it. The downside to the USA, and frankly Canada as well, just to a lesser extent, is that we don't really have a great rail system,
We need
and
more
it
trains.
agreed.
yeah, and I don't
Mostly
love
trains.
traveling by air because of rates. It gets very expensive very quickly. Now, granted, if I were like I live in California, if I was just popping over to Nevada, it would cost virtually nothing and it'd be very quick.
Yeah.
But even just
Yeah.
wanting to go to visit family I have in like New York and Pennsylvania, incredibly expensive depending on the time of year.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, I just think when it comes to traveling, planes are less interesting than going by train, going like on the ground.
I
Mhm.
agree.
I wouldn't want to drive across country because I love myself.
So, I don't know because I did uh just coming out of high school. It would have been like a year, 2 years out of high school. I did a road trip with a bunch of friends down to Orlando. Uh, but a road trip with just a car full of your friends, like your car full of bros. That's a freaking blast, man.
Yeah, maybe for some people, I have no interest in that. Furthermore, yeah, if I was going from I don't know Sacramento to LA, that'd be cool. I'm not trying to take a car full of people I know from San
Gotta.
Francisco to New York City.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly right.
Maybe not a long one like that, sure, but I mean, like from one like notable spot in a state to another kind of thing. It could be pretty fun, or like
Sure.
just states that are closer together than California and New York.
Yeah, I mean, after all, like, Bloody Seaver drove up from Arizona to Las Vegas,
Fantastic,
so
yeah,
he's like,
fantastic.
that's fine. But I'll put it like this: Anthony Bourdain had my dream job. His job was to go out and be filmed having conversations with interesting people over good food. And that there's a lot of culture in doing that. There's the travel
Hmm.
to get there, there's being there, and then there's the ingesting of the culture both through the stories that's being told, whether it be political or just cultural stories, and the
Hmm.
food. And that is magnificent.
We have similar dream jobs, Dalit, because I'm right there with you. That is magnificent.
Now, granted, I'm an incredibly picky eater by and large. Like, I am probably not as picky as I make myself sound out to be, but I'm picky enough that I would like to be in control of the menu,
Yes,
but
please. I
also,
agree. Yeah.
um,
I agree.
I would like, I'd love to go to all 50 states, even Alaska, and sit down with someone who's been there who could tell me, I don't know, rich histories, or fucking political injustices, whatever it takes to have a firmer grasp of where I live. And also,
Hmm.
Mhm.
while I'm there, yeah, eat some good food and have a vibe.
100%. One of the best things I have found about traveling, especially now that I'm older and doing it, and I got really kind of annoyed when we were out for my brother's bachelor party because we were just outside of Atlanta. We went into Atlanta at one point. I was just like, all of the meals we had while we were there were mostly like fast food. And I'm like, come on, none of us live here. We're in a city. Let's find one of the really nice holes in the walls or places that that are in Atlanta. Let's find something good to eat instead of fast food. And which is all we ever really got to eat. So it was just like, oh,
Yeah, that is
food.
something that I am very good about when I travel. Is I do try to find local food. Maybe not like the super duper hidden gem. No, no, just anything that's local, anything that's even remotely representative. Yeah, I'll have a
Yeah.
bite from there.
Yeah. Like that's part of the joy of traveling, right? Is trying the food of wherever you're going or where you're at.
I certainly think so.
Yeah, that's my thought process anyways.
But to speak specifically about the US, I mean, I've really not been all that far through it. It's hard to like pinpoint like there's one place that I absolutely have to go, otherwise I'll fucking die angry and like disenfranchised.
Bitter.
No.
Yeah.
Like no, I genuinely I just want to take I would love to one day be financially well off enough to like take a train trip around the US. Like I have I guess it's not family, but you might as well be family. I have family in Colorado and in New Mexico, uh, that I haven't seen in ages that I'd love to go and check out. And admittedly, they're in striking distance of me. You know, if I
Mm.
set a couple $100 aside, I can go visit them.
Yeah.
But also,
Right.
I would like to visit Texas. I've lived in America for 20 some odd years, and we all make jokes about Texas. I've never been. I want to visit San Antonio. I want to visit El Paso, and yeah, I do also want to visit Austin to see what it's like being a little blue city in a very red state.
Yeah, and also have a water burger as well.
I maybe I'm not too caught up in that conversation. But yeah, like I want to go
Hey,
to.
hey, they got good specialty burgers. They're worth trying.
I'm sure. But yeah, I want to make it. I want to make it to St. Louis. I have friends there. I want to make it to Chicago. I have friends there. I want to go to Nashville because that's half of the thing that I do for a living now is music and live audio, and there's plenty to see there.
Hmm.
I've been through Florida a bunch, but like it's never been for enough time to really soak it in. And I'm I would love to go to South Beach and just like see how the other side lives.
You come up to my part of Florida and visit me.
I probably would because you're there, but know that if you weren't there, I would kind of want nothing to do with that section of Florida.
We have the best beach in Florida. Just saying.
I
We actually have one
mean,
of the best beaches in the country, according to most reviews.
I certainly believe it because you're on the Gulf, but I'd much rather be around Miami
That's fair.
because, you know. Um, but all this to say that, like, because I've only ever really experienced a handful of places, there's so much within America I'd like to take in. I'm a kid that grew up with the History Channel when it was actually the History Channel.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just ancient aliens and pawn shop. Like
Yeah.
I've seen a lot about this place that I'd like to take in from more than just behind a screen. And this is going to be, of course, like naturally, I say that this echoes to a lot of the places that we'll get to,
Right.
because obviously this is going to be true of a lot of Europe and a lot of Asia when I talk about
Yeah.
this in the Middle East as well. But I live in America. I have freedom to go wherever I want if I can afford it. And unfortunately, that's been the holdup.
That's the catch. Affording it.
Yeah, it's rough enough just to go home. Like that's an expensive trip every single time. So,
Um, I'll go ahead and say, in case Nat's still thinking about it.
No,
Uh,
I've
I
had
kind
my
of.
answers, but yeah, I was
Oh,
just
okay.
letting Dollar, speak his
Oh, I
mind. That's
thought you
all.
were still thinking about it while it was going. Okay. Well, I'll still go ahead and throw it in there real quick. Is I've kind of mentioned like I'd like to kind of redo a lot of those things I saw when I was younger. Now that I'm older and can appreciate them more. Um, but if there's anything I really want to see, it's the Grand Canyon. Haven't got to see that like proper. I flew over it and that was cool, but I'd like to actually go see it. I want to do the Skywalk. I think that'd be really
sure.
really dope. Uh, and I want to see a lot of the big cities. I haven't seen a lot of the big cities like Chicago, New York, LA, things like that. I just want to see them, kind of just experience them once. Um, Seattle, and would love to go to Hawaii. Just to say I've been to Hawaii, and I want to go to Alaska to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I also want to see the Northern Lights, but I don't want it to be in Alaska. In this particular instant, nothing against you, Alaska. That just has way more to do with I'd rather be in like Norway or Sweden or
That's fair.
Scotland if they
Well,
can catch it over there.
That's fair.
And
That would be my preference too.
let me tell you, it takes a lot for me to say this because whilst I'm really willing to bend over backwards for a lot of things, I fucking hate the cold.
yeah.
I love it.
Nah, cold's all right.
But Nat, you have ideas, yeah?
Uh, sort of. So as you guys know, when you have an Australian visa or fucking birth certificate, right? You can. I don't want to say not freely, but you can travel to New Zealand at like a huge fucking discount. So I
Sure.
wouldn't mind, and vice versa with New Zealanders as well. Um, I wouldn't mind going and see New Zealand, see pretty much where they shot Lord of the Rings and all that.
Yep.
And all the mountains, because it is, from what I've seen, very fucking picturesque landscape.
One of the most picturesque landscapes still in the world, I believe.
Yeah. So New Zealand, and then there's really nothing else. Maybe go to like Sydney just to simply see the Opera House and be like, "Yep, I see it in person. Yep, I've seen it before, and I'll continue seeing it again because I live in Australia."
Yeah.
I would love to go into the Opera House, to go into the Sydney Opera House. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. And then this isn't really a particular location, but where the fuck like DreamHack goes to in Australia. So if they like set up in like Melbourne for like the week or whatever, you know, I'll
I was
probably
gonna say, surely it's Melbourne, right?
yeah,
It is
yeah,
Melbourne, yeah.
yeah,
Or it has been Melbourne the last times. All the last times, I think.
yeah. So like usually yeah. So those are my choices like in Australia as well. Oh, one more thing. Obviously I'm not going to dox myself, but I kind of want to go back to my like childhood like beach area and see how that's changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
So the
That
passage
I
of
can.
time is fucking cruel.
Oh
I've
yeah,
been
it
able
is.
to, yeah, I've been able to go back to a couple of places I've lived previously, and it's never bad, but it's disquieting to see change like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's just less open spaces, everything's built wall to wall. It's like, oh man, there used to just be a field here. I used
Yeah,
to run till
exactly.
I fucking passed out in the grass here.
Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all, as somebody who's lived in the same town his entire life, it's wild living there and watching the passage of time happen because it's just like, oh man, I remember when I was young, there was nothing here. Now
Yeah.
there's all these things everywhere you go, and so many more people.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that you're like, damn, this like actually happened in my lifetime. That's insane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my choices for
I
in
know when it
Australia.
comes to Australia, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's any surprise. It's probably on both of our to dos, but it's certainly for me. I would love to visit there, and my want to visit out of there is A, out of curiosity because I would just genuinely like to see what it's like there, but also
Mhm.
B, out of fucking spite. So, again, I've mentioned this
Explain.
already, but I didn't grow up particularly well off.
Mhm.
But when I
He's going
was
specifically to beat up Nat's ass.
Yeah, probably.
yeah, while I'm
Call it
there,
what
yeah,
spite is.
while I'm there, I'll bully Nat. Why not? But
Yeah.
no, when I was in school, I did very well in school,
Mhm.
and I won a few honors. And one of them really was just a hey, we would like you to be a student ambassador. We'll fly you down to I want to say it was the Gold Coast, but it may have just been. I'll be honest, it might have just been Melbourne or Sydney. But I was going to go down there and we were going to do a lot of I don't know, coastal activities as well as just be a
Yep.
student representative from America.
Yep.
But there was a cost, like it wasn't just covered by the
Oh, are you serious?
yeah,
Fucking
by
hell.
the event because it wasn't through my school. It was through the Who's Who of American high school students.
Right.
So like I made it
So
into a
fucking dumb.
book.
Yeah.
I made it into a book. They were like, "Yeah, congrats. We'd love to have you specifically as one of the kids that comes down and is a rep, and we're gonna need like a couple $1,000." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'd love to come. I'm sorry, how much?"
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, I wasn't a freshman. I was like a sophomore, I guess, maybe a
Mhm.
junior. I didn't have any money. My family, like we can live in California, which is saying a lot, but we
Yeah.
didn't have like the disposable stuff to just shoot me across the globe in
Yeah.
both directions. So I couldn't do that, and I've always been really sad about that because on one hand, I felt like I earned that.
I mean, you did. Like
You
they
want to
told
claim
you as
your
much.
reward.
You earned it.
Yeah, but also, I mean, when they told me, first of all, I knew immediately I wasn't going, but I did like look up a bunch of stuff about Australia, and obviously I'd known a bit before that because again, I was a fucking nerd. I watched the History Channel, I watched the Sci-Fi Channel, I watched the travel, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Australia comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Real genuine question. Did so obviously, especially back in like the 90s and the early 2000s, there was whenever like Nature Channel was either David Attenborough or Steve Irwin, right? Did they
Yeah,
did
yeah, yeah.
they show any like genuine like Steve Irwin like episodes and all that shit, like Crocodile Hunter and all that?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
I grew
cool.
up watching Crocodile Hunter. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I genuinely did not know if that was just
No,
That's
more of a
why.
understandable,
thing
right?
outside of Australia.
I'm sure it feels like a very, very made for Australia kind of
It
thing.
very much was, but yeah.
But no, good
Yeah.
old Steve-O was really good for introducing people. I mean, maybe not so much to Australia. He was like an ambassador in that sense, but
Mhm.
just like what he said was just so applicable to so much about animals that he
Yeah.
was everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's why, like, on my list of things for if I go to Australia, is like I want to see the Sydney Opera House. I want to be able to go into the Opera House. If I could watch a show in the Opera House, that'd be incredible. But one of the places I really want to go to is I want to go to his zoo, the zoo that like
Fuck.
Einstein owns and everything.
Where's that again? I forgot where that is.
I'm
I
not like a
genuinely
big
don't
animal
know.
person. I'm not a big animal person, mind you, but I grew up watching him, and I like and I, like all my love for animals probably does come from him because he was infectious with that love for animals. So,
Australian Zoo. Yeah,
uh,
where is it? Sorry, go on.
but yeah, yeah. So I would really love to go see that. I don't know if zoo's the right word. It might be
No,
like a
it's no, no. It's
nature
it's
preserve,
literally
but I think it is.
called Australia Zoo. That's his.
It is called Australia Zoo.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah,
it's in Queensland, which I'm surprised because I thought it was further down south. But yeah, no.
yeah. So I would
Ah,
really love to
brilliant.
see that too.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'd like to see in my like list of things to see in Australia. But it's on my list too. I mean, like Australia is, and
Yeah, like I said,
I would.
there wasn't a doubt in my mind when I brought this up that I know
Mhm.
you'd want to show up too.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go. I want to go see him bully Nat personally. Like,
No,
that's
Wait,
fair,
like.
what the
valid. Yes, correct.
fuck?
But also, me and Nat have made a promise that when we do meet up, we're going to like a jazz bar, and I'm just
Oh
like I want to go.
yeah, yeah.
I want to go with one of my closest friends. I want to go get like a jazz coffee bar and just sit there, enjoy some jazz, and drink some nice coffee. Like that
Mm-hmm.
sounds amazing to me.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Um,
I would love to be. I would love to just like go around Australia and just. In a lot of cases, I don't really want to stick out as being a tourist, but I think Australia is one of the few places I would just want to be a tourist. I would want to go to Brisbane. I would want to go to the Gold Coast. I would want to go to Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. Just like hit all the obviously big spots like Adelaide, all these big places. Just be a tourist, drink it in, and then like have enjoyed my time.
Oh, you have a drink, all right. You'll drink it in, all right.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Like dangerously
that
so. I'm not even a drinker, but I bet you I wouldn't have much of a say in it. It'd be a good old time. No, I've had a bunch of separate Australian friends. One of my friends lives, or at least lived. It's been a while. I think he's moved in Medlow-Bath, which I believe is down in New South Wales. I think it's to the west of Sydney, going up. But yeah, I'd love to chat with David and try to get in touch with him again and meet up. Like, there's a bunch of reasons for me to want to be in and around Australia. The three of us have another person in common that we could go bully. I mean, we absolutely couldn't because he would never see us, but
no, he would definitely not let us.
he would
definitely
actively
hide.
avoid us. But it'd be
He would
lovely.
hide.
It'd be lovely to
He-
run into him.
It'd be lovely to run into him or just make him paranoid that we could be around every corner.
We could be
Um,
anywhere.
The
Hashtag Mod
I-
Squad.
I will say there is. I'm not as open to being a tourist in Australia, mostly just because of it's a joke, but it's also true. I know there's so many things that can kill you in Australia, and I'm incredibly unlucky. So if I'm in the country too long, I feel like I'm just going to die.
I mean, that's fair, but it's actually for that reason that I would want to be a tourist. When I say this, like I would want to be out in all like the safe stupid American places where they just go and they make us pay too much, and they bring out like someone who fucking has the thickest accent.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, put on a show for the Americans. They don't know any better.
Yeah.
Like I'm less interested in seeing the various the preserves, reserves, conservation parks, even though I know throughout Australia there's a bunch of very beautiful places, even into the desert. And boy, oh boy, I wouldn't want to be in there. I like
Oh,
living.
God,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I would want to stay just on, essentially just on the outside of the island.
Hmm.
I say island, it's a continent.
It's
And
technically both. It's a
it's both.
continental
It's both.
island.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not wrong when you
Um,
say island.
but yeah, I like to go around and like I recognize how big an impact is. Again, I live in America. I know that Australia is not small.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what would make this particular type of travel real interesting. And also, I fucking love the water. I come
I
from an
reckon.
island.
Yeah.
I think I would love my time, especially in like Brisbane specifically. I think I would just fucking flourish there.
I reckon you'll like Bondi Beach in Sydney. At least it's in New South Wales. I don't remember if it's in Sydney or not. But yeah, Bondi Beach.
All right. Fair play.
Yeah.
You mentioned New Zealand as well. I have the same wants to see it for the same reasons you do, like
Hmm.
because all the films and like the picturesque scenes. One of the
Yeah,
other
the
places I really want
Vista.
to visit,
Hmm.
yeah, one of the other places I want to visit that we'll talk about, uh, is for a similar reason, just because of the view and like the picturesque, like scenes and vistas and things like that. But I was like somehow I like somebody I was watching or was watching this video, or I walked past somebody watching this video or something, watching some kind of food video, like this food YouTube channel or whatever, and they were specifically in New Zealand, like showing off some restaurants there, and there was just so many things in that video in those restaurants that looked so good. I'm just like, I want to go here. I want to eat all the things. So
All the chocolate.
there's a lot of restaurants I would like to see,
Yeah.
go try if I ever get to go there. So
Yeah. So, outside of our country slash island, but when we go outside there.
here, I'll go ahead and broach this topic and just get it out of the way.
I was
Mhm.
about to
I
say,
think
let's not beat around the bush.
Yes.
there's one place I think all three of us want to go, like without hesitation or question, right?
Correct.
Because I think we've talked about quite a few things that come out of this little island country that is incredible, called Japan.
What the fuck is that?
Matt, I'll kick your
Shut
ass.
No, hey,
up.
whoa. I'm just saying that for the people that don't know, right? I'm asking the hard hitting questions.
Yep, you're right. Fair enough.
Fair. Okay, you know what? I won't hurt you as bad. Um, Japan is a magical and wonderful place. That's what it is. I don't even know where to start with Japan though, right? It's so much for a single country, and this is just like a really compact country, all things considered,
Oh, yeah.
with as much that's in it. Um, it's got the biggest. I think it may not be anymore, but I'm pretty sure it's the biggest city in the world in Tokyo. Uh, like it's got just so much. Tokyo by itself is like 2 weeks worth of things to do.
Yeah.
And then you have the rest of Japan, like going up to going down to Kyoto if you want to see Kyoto and all the temples and shrines, going to see Fuji, going to North Japan and all the things that are up there.
Hmm.
I've mentioned like to no surprise, and like as I think I have talked about it. I watch Abroad in Japan. I watch Connor from Sea Dog VA and all the Trash Taste Boys, uh, and numerous videos where they've been in Japan, in Tokyo, and doing all these things like the cyclothons, Connor's RV trips, and there's just all these things in Japan. I have just all these different videos that Chris has done on his channel of different things in Japan. I've just saved them and just like bookmarked them and taken notes. And I'm just like, there's so many things in Japan I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to see. It's just I couldn't even begin to list them all. There's just so much.
Well,
It's
personally, I have two answers for Japan. The more realistic choice is obviously Tokyo, and then going up north to Hokkaido to snowboard. That is the more realistic dream of me traveling there. And then the absolute fantasy, if I was a rich boy, I'd travel to every single prefecture, so all 47 of them.
Oh, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Each prefecture has its own like specialty foods and stuff too,
yeah,
so getting to try
exactly
that.
right.
Oh, it'd be so great.
Yeah,
Because I mean, Japanese food, like especially Japanese food in Japan, is just something special from every person who's ever been there. I know.
yeah.
It's I'll say this. It's oh no, I lost my train of thought, so I won't say that. Maybe I'll circle back around to it. Um, but there's so much I would love to do in Japan. Like it's crazy. And like I've also said to myself, I want to live outside of America for at some point in my life, maybe for just like a couple months or longer depending on the place. Japan is one of those places I would really like to experience living in
Oh
for at least
man.
some period of time. I think that'd be really cool to be able to
I
just experience that.
see if you said that to me like I don't know 5-10 years ago, I'd agree with you. But after knowing just trying to live in Japan as a foreigner, I'm just like fuck that. Like it's
There's a lot of hassles with it.
yeah, it's a lot of just government bullshit, setting up banks, and oh, it's just even thinking about it is just a nightmare headache.
Yeah, I
But
don't
no
think I
shit.
like of the three of us. I have like the least interest in Japan, which is still plenty, mind you. I know I am outclassed on this topic.
Yeah.
I'm well more focused on where I want to go. Like I would mostly just want to stick to the bigger city. Definitely go to Tokyo, take a
Mm-hmm.
trip to Osaka, maybe go as far down as Fukuoka,
Mm-hmm.
and just drink in the various differences in the culture. I'm not too interested in going too far north. I mean, Sendai seems pretty nice, but I don't know what I would want to do up in Hokkaido.
Drink, because Hokkaido is known for its beers, isn't it? I want to say yes.
Sapporo?
What's that
Yeah.
Sapporo?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I can't remember.
the most interesting thing and for me would be actually going down, way down, way down to
Oh,
Okinawa.
ah, damn, bro. Fucking hell.
I more so than the mainland itself. I would like to spend a good amount of time in Okinawa.
Mm-hmm.
However, I imagine that's pretty pricey.
Oh yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
why I
it
said if
it
I
looks
was a rich
beautiful.
boy, I would go to
Well,
every prefecture.
if I
Yeah.
was a rich boy, I would just party it up in the Roppongi district. So
Fair.
Yeah.
let's go.
I'll say I'll say this because this is where my train of thought was going to go before. Um, when it comes to Japan, I just love and respect and appreciate that entire culture so much. So any amount of time just absorbing that anywhere in the country would just be very treasured for me.
Mm. But yeah,
Yeah, and
dollar.
I think that's what separates us. I am interested in Japan in the same way that I'm interested in a lot of various countries. Now, I have a bit of a softer spot for Japan just because of the various games and animation that I take in.
Mm-hmm.
But because I don't actually watch that much anime, and because the games that I play, even from Japan, really aren't based around Japan itself, my pull is mostly just for the sake of travel, and because Japan is a notable culture in the world. So I would want to go in there, like I said before, I would want to go. I'd want to find someone in there that I could spend a good amount of time with. We could chat about it. They could tell me things, and I could indulge myself in the cuisine. Also,
Yeah.
there is one thing I would want to definitely do there. I would want to
Yes.
go to the base of one of the mountains that has like a fairly decent hotel and just bathe. Just bathe with a full view of one of the mountains
Yeah.
during the autumn and
Oh,
just
Get the
exist there.
get the
An outdoor
natural hot
bath, yeah.
springs. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh
Yes.
my
yeah,
goodness.
And the fucking
yeah.
beer. Oh. Oh,
become as a macaque. Yes. Like that is something that I would want to do. And that is there's no real route for that. I've just seen it and it looks
heavenly.
kind of, yeah. Like
Hmm.
Yeah,
I it's
kind of.
just an experience that having seen I want. But in terms of feeling like incredibly strongly about Japan as a place that I would want to spend any great amount of time. I'm definitely at the bottom of the rung. I would want to go again. Um, I would have to be a tourist. I stick out too much. There's no blending in at all for me. So I
Yeah.
would go. I would just want to take it in. I'd want to experience it on my terms as best as I could.
Fair.
And I
And
would like to
that's
go to Okinawa and just fucking swim around and enjoy that because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's not
Fuck
like the
yeah.
Okinawans don't have a treasured history of their own, which is a bit at odds with Japan itself at times. So, like, even there's plenty of history to take in.
Yep.
there is a bicycle trail like over like it's like bridges on these like islands like attached to this Shimanadi Kaiho. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a well-known like cycle trail. I can't ride a bicycle, but I wouldn't want to do it for the bicycling. But the views there, whether you bicycle or not, uh, are incredible. That is something I'd really like to see. There's a lot
Mm.
of wonderful views and vistas I'd love to see. Just being able to see like the cherry blossoms in bloom during spring would be awesome.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, things like the sunset over that and whatnot would be really cool to see.
I'd love to do the whole cherry blossom thing. However,
Same.
I know that that's a trap. And what's worse is that tourists make it even more difficult for the locals
Oh,
to appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which is why when I say I want to go to Japan, it's probably during like very very late summer, probably more early autumn. Um, I don't even know if that's like a great time to be there. I just think like it feels
it's
like
supposed to be a good time.
yeah, it feels like the least likely way to get in the way, and I could just like meander around and speak with people and cause the least amount of intrusion.
That's fair. I think that's supposed to be one of the better times.
But yeah, like ideally like they like Japan and really we're all of Asia are going to have like all of these festivals that really stick out to us because it's so exotic to our very Western mindsets. Like these are
Hmm.
times where we would want to go because that's when we could experience something new. But
Yeah.
also, I recognize that that is when everyone goes because they want to experience that, and it becomes a pain in the ass for
Yeah.
everyone, including
Exactly right.
tourists and especially the locals. But
Yep.
like, coming from a place where tourism is king, I know this, so I can commiserate.
That's fair. I can't help but still, know even knowing that, I can't help but want to
Oh
be
yeah, no, for
one of
Part
sure.
of
those.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because like with Japan and all of like Asia, Southeast Asia in general. Because one of the times I was in school, of the many times I was in school and going to school, it was majoring in history and culture. Specifically, I was focusing on Asian, Southeast Asian history and culture. So Japan, Korea, uh, Vietnam, uh, all of that down there, just like all of that
I would
was
say
where I
so. That
was
doesn't
looking.
sound very Southeast Asian. It's like Southeast Asian to me is what Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, the
Yeah,
Philippines,
like
Indo.
it was like all of those, Japan, like even China. Like it was just, I guess it really is just all of Asia proper, right?
Yeah, it
So
sounds like that was not specific. It sounds like it was
yeah,
it was pretty sweeping.
well, like so history and culture, but specifically Asian history and culture.
Sure,
I
sure,
guess is what I
sure.
was trying to say.
Sure,
So
sure.
yeah, that'd be the proper way to say it. I don't know, talking faster than my brain. Um,
I
but
appreciate this.
but yeah, and so any of those countries and festivals and things, I don't want to be a nuisance on the locals, and I don't want to be rude to them or interfere or anything like that. But I also really want to experience and see and learn, and I want to do it all and still and like, but I want to be able to respect the cultures and the peoples. Like I like that's the entire reason I want to, is because I love those cultures and the peoples as much as I do. So
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, you don't want to be a nuisance, but you also want to participate. So it's like, what do you do? Well,
Exactly.
yeah.
And so, like, at the end of the day, you have the right of it. Like, if you want to experience it, the only way to do it is to go. And because it's so specific in when it can happen, I mean,
Exactly.
it's just the way of it. Upside for me, I have both a cherry tree and a plum tree in my backyard, so I get a mini version of it every year.
Yeah, he has Japan back at home.
Well, I guess I say I have 2 trees. I guess they're not 2 trees. It's one of those weird trees that they made one at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, that's my little thing. Is like I get little pink and white flowers every so often.
Oh, but yeah, you're not gonna like have a summer festival when it's winter and all that shit. So
Just so.
yeah, exactly.
I hear so many people say like summer in Japan is absolutely awful because of the humidity and
Yeah,
heat.
it looks humid as hell.
Yeah, all
And I'm
the
just like,
buildings and all that shit just reflecting the sun. Oh, ugh. That's
and
so good.
I'm thinking to myself, because every time I hear somebody talk about it, they're like, "Trust me, you don't understand. It's awful." I'm like, "What if you're like somebody like Dalit who's from the islands, or you
Oh, we're
live
used
in."
to it, but we still don't like it. It's
Oh, no, I
still
know we
ass.
do, but like every time I hear people talk about it, they're like, even if you think you're used to it, it's not as bad as it is in Japan. And I'm like, it can't be worse, right? Than like what you would experience in the Caribbean, or the 90% humidity I experience here daily.
The
So
humidity is bad in the Caribbean, especially where I'm from. It's rough in that like it's there and you never feel clean. You wake up and you're sweating. You take a
Uh,
shower. You get out of the shower. You're immediately sweating again.
yeah,
But when I hear people talk about specifically Japan, it really does feel like it's overwhelming. Like it feels like I've heard people say it's hard to breathe,
yeah,
and I've been
suffocating.
in I've been in situations where I felt like I was suffocating in the humidity before. I'm not sure I'm built for that. Like
Yeah.
I understand that if it's that bad, I wouldn't want to deal with it.
I just want to know if it's actually that bad, or if it's
Mhm.
just because the people that are saying this aren't used to living in that humidity.
My money would actually be on it. Probably does get that bad. Like it's clearly not going to be that bad all summer.
Yeah.
But during the heat waves, I imagine it can be pretty oppressive.
Yeah,
If I
like
had to
it's
bet.
not just like the weather as well, it's also the architecture and all that. Like if you're going to Tokyo
It's not
or
insulated, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I said like all the buildings just reflecting the fucking sun into you, and it's just yeah, it's just fucking awful.
There. So, not going to go super in depth in Japan because it's just, I mean, where to start first off.
Oh,
There's
we just want to go there to have fun, to be a bunch of
A
yeah,
fucking
hundred
yeah,
percent.
tourists. Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
So, what about outside of Japan? What is the like place you want to visit most in the world?
So,
Even then, Japan may not be that for you, right? But just excluding it because we've already talked about it.
yeah. So I actually have an answer that's already been answered by Dolit, and that's
Oh,
pretty
cool.
much Northern Europe, or like roughly around Norway and Sweden and all
Sure.
that. Yeah.
What's up? What's going on up there?
Just snow, Northern Lights, just outdoor
Fair.
stuff. Yeah.
No,
That's fair.
that's what we see of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like it looks absolutely beautiful and very compelling for anyone who's outdoorsy.
Yeah. Um.
Uh, it's pretty high up on my list. I wouldn't say it's definitely where I want to go the most, but like yeah, I do want to go to like Oslo or Stockholm and look up and be somewhere nice and very toasty with a lot of hot chocolate or at least a spiced liquor of some kind and just
yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
It would be very nice.
I wouldn't
Without a
want to
doubt.
be on the west coast of Norway though. I don't know that I could take getting blasted by wind from the North Seas, which sucks
Oh.
because I really want to visit Edinburgh and visit one of my mates very badly. And there's no way not to get hit by the North Sea breeze there.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
I think I'd enjoy the North Sea breeze, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm weird enough.
sure.
I'm weird enough. I think I'd enjoy it.
Well, we'll see, Matt, because if you go to Japan first and if you go all the way up north, there is a
Yeah,
point
the Hokkaido.
where, yeah, there's a like a plaque that says this is
Yeah,
like
it
the
says there's
north.
the northernmost point.
Yeah, and
You can supposedly see Russia from
all
the.
it is just fucking ocean just blowing into you, and I'm just like, yeah, nah,
Yeah,
fuck that, I'm good. Fuck
I,
that.
I, I'd, I'd want to go to that. I would 100% want to go
I
there.
would,
Just
but
get the.
like, oh, just yeah, nah, like
I think
thoughts
Norway
right
would
on the
be.
whole just sea blowing into you. Just fuck that.
I'm not big on it. I'm assuming you mean
Yeah.
Cape Soya, which is I think the northern part, and you can most definitely see Russia from there.
Yeah,
Like it
I
is not
I would
very
also.
far.
Yeah.
I'd also want to see Norway. Norway would be really cool. I know I'd like when I did my uh, family heritage thing when I was in school, like way back when. One of the things that I learned then was that that's where a large portion of my heritage comes from is like Norwegian from
Hmm.
Norway. So that's the place that's been on my list to see since then. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I'd like to see that. Um, I think. Did you answer?
No, and I'm gonna be
He
honest with you. I
agreed with
don't.
me, but he hasn't given
Yeah,
proper answer.
I don't really know. Like I guess this should have been an easy one to answer, but I have so many places on my list. I'm Irish on both sides of my family. So I what I should say is I would love to go to Ireland and see my family and literally see Ireland. It is gorgeous in every single picture. I have never seen a picture outside of the city that doesn't look amazing. The city, I mean, look, a city's a city, man. Every city's gonna look a little bit sad. But like Ireland and seeing the like I to be fair, I'm gonna make myself a liar immediately because I said I wouldn't want to fly into a lot of these places. I would love to fly into Ireland
Oh
specifically
yeah.
because it the 40 shades of green, it's just beautiful the whole way, the Emerald Isle, all of that. Like yeah, and again, I mean, I really want to. I have family just outside of Dublin, so
Top of the morning
It's
to you,
funny.
laddie. Here's a potato and your pot of gold.
I'm going to throw you off of this island with all the fucking snakes. I don't know if like this is the place I would most want to go. Like I have family. I would love to see my family. Um but I would also love to get on a train in Lisbon and end up somewhere in I don't know, somewhere in southern Italy and like go to Malta, go to Turkey,
That'd be cool.
go to all like pass through like obviously I think I would have to pass through Switzerland. Maybe I wouldn't have to pass through Switzerland. But like I do have like a map of the EU in mind that I want to pass through various places.
Right.
Like I definitely want to go to Spain. I definitely want to go to Germany. I don't really want to go to France. I'm sure it's lovely. I don't have a strong pull to it. Um I want to go to Luxembourg because apparently that's the most expensive place to live in the world,
What the
like per
fuck?
capita.
Interesting.
I feel like it's one of those things where like the per capita, like the most expensive place, like there's an asterisk there. I would just
Right.
want to see it, but I definitely want to go to Germany, Austria, definitely Italy, definitely Greece.
Oh yeah, Greece would be really cool.
Yeah, I have like there's a whole train ride I want to go through the EU on. Well, train and boat, I guess.
It's funny, like my number one place has always been without question Japan. Um,
Hmm.
but then after that, even though there's a lot of other places in Asia, I'd love to go and see. I'd love to go see Seoul in South Korea. I'd love to go see like the mountains in China. I think that'd be very pretty to see. Um, and just so many places like that. But it's after Japan. It's mostly a bunch of European like countries and places I want to go see.
Yeah, same.
Um,
Because I
It's
also
the
want to
same
go to
with me.
Greece as well. Yeah.
I mean, like all this is Western bias, right? Because this is where all of our various histories ends up going back to.
Yeah.
Like this is everything we learned in school is going to be North Africa, the Middle East, but majoritively in Europe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's I there when I was younger, I really wanted to go to Paris quite a bit. I've heard a lot of things that make me not as excited. I still want to go to Paris, but I'm not as excited as I was when I was younger. Now, like some of the countryside in France, I've heard some amazing things about that I would really like to see. So I wouldn't mind that. I would love to go to Rome. I would love to go to Venice. Um,
Yeah, same.
s- uh,
Italy is another place I would love to travel just up and down.
right,
Like,
easily.
oh my goodness, Milan, Genoa, San Marino, Florence, Rome. I don't know that I would get over to Sicily. Oh,
I'd try to get over to
Naples.
Sicily.
Oof.
I would try to get over there. Actually, funny enough, I think it was Sicily where my brother proposed to his wife.
Oh,
Oh,
Um,
nice.
God, that must have been a beautiful
oh my,
proposal.
okay. So not my story to tell. Trey, if you ever listen to this, I'm sorry. I'm telling your story on my podcast. Um, the the so he took her on vacation over to Italy. I want to say it was Sicily, and they went on a like a little boat ride out onto some water, into like I think there was like a cave or something you could like take it through, and it was like kind of like bioluminescent or whatever.
Oh, that's
And
very
while they're
pretty.
in on the this was very pretty, very nice, very quaint. And as they're going through it on the boat ride, he pulls his like a tablet out and sets it up, and he clicks play on a video and has her watch the video, and it's her family, a bunch of their friends, it's me, it's our family, all of us just saying, "Hey, say yes," and we're just all saying the same thing over and over and over. And then when she's done with the video, he has the ring out and everything.
Oh,
Like like
That's
it
very
was.
nice.
My, I give all credit to my brother. Like that was an incredible idea that he came up with. It was beautiful. It's one of the like most beautiful proposals I've ever like heard about or seen anything to do with. And like I've seen tons of you see tons of them on videos and stuff online or in movies and things like that. Like what he came up with and did there was in freaking incredible. I'm like that, my brother. You make me so proud. That was beautiful. Um, but yeah, I immediately asked him, I'm like, so how are you going to top that for the honeymoon? He's like, we'll get to that later.
Like we were in Sicily when I proposed. This was the honeymoon, damn it.
Which I don't know if they ever like I don't know if they've even gone on their honeymoon yet. They've been married a year now, but when they got married, she was just finishing her doctorate, so she was like super busy with school and now
I'm
like getting into
sure.
work.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they ever even got to do that, but he said he's gonna top it. I don't know what he's gonna do, or if he
Hey,
did
more
top it. I
power
don't know.
to him.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, it was after. But I was like after Japan, I think like there's just a bunch of European countries. And funny enough, the one I think that like really sits high on that list and probably is second comes back to what I was saying before about New Zealand and those beautiful vistas and scenes. Is I really want to go to Wales. Wales is beautiful. Like so
Lamau
many just
Wales. Yep.
mountainous pictures and just scenes and uh, funny enough, if I'm not mistaken, I heard somebody say this. It's got the largest like castle per capita like in Europe. Like there's more
Huh.
castles in Wales than anywhere else in Europe.
Oh, actually, yeah, I think I've
I'm
heard
not
this
surprised about that. Yeah.
this as well. I'm not sure if it's true, but it's an interesting little factoid.
I know that there's quite a few that you can like rent out to stay in or whatever, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's so cool. I want to go to Wales. I want to see all these beautiful mountainous landscapes and pictures and scenes, and I want to rent a castle for a weekend and stay in the castle because why the heck not? That would be amazing.
All right,
Yeah.
listen, just because we can doesn't mean it's not terribly expensive.
I mean, yeah, it would be incredibly expensive, I'm sure, but I want to do it. But yeah, I really want to see Wales. It's just like you were saying with Ireland and the green, and it's just so many pictures I see of just like the mountains in Wales, and even some of the coastal pictures. It's just so pretty, and I'm just like, I want to see this. I want to see this in person with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like there is just a certain draw to even the UK. I mean, granted, I don't know how much time I would want to spend in England proper, but I
Hmm.
definitely do want to take trips to Scotland, to Ireland, even North Ireland, which is UK, Wales, and sure, there's little bits and pieces throughout England. I'd like to stop off in.
Funny enough, I would really enjoy, like I was saying, like I would like to live outside of the states at some point in my life in different places. I would like to be able to live just not very long, but a couple months in London. I would like to experience living in London just for a couple months.
I
Just
mean, once upon a time, I might have agreed with you, but and I mean, look, UK homies, you can get as mad as you want at me. The UK is just America. It's just America with an accent.
Hmm.
And I
with
guess better
accent.
healthcare, but that's hardly saying much. But yeah, it's just
Yeah.
become more and more like America. Like there's always going to be things that separate it. Like I'm not literally saying everything becomes America. It is one to one, but a lot of the tropes, a lot of things that the UK might have mocked America for so many decades ago, they are now.
I
But
mean,
again,
yeah.
to like not to dissuade you, like there's a lot of history that comes from this little fuck off island, like immensely powerful. So there's so
Oh
much
yeah.
history in this little spit of land.
I mean, there's no real dissuading me for any of it. I want to get out. I want to explore. I want to see. I want to travel. I want to experience all these different ways of life and cultures and places and foods, and I want to see it all, man. It doesn't. There's no dissuading me.
Yeah, so do I. And my current biggest heartbreak is just the state of the world politically. I genuinely would love to be in North Africa and the Middle East because of the untold amounts of history that are in those areas. But
Oh yeah.
it feels like it's not the best time to be in any of those areas. Like
Yeah. I mean,
I might take a trip somewhere in Tunisia, maybe Algiers, but I don't know how long or how much into North Africa I want to be. And I certainly don't know how deep into the Middle East I want to be. Like I've said Turkey,
Hmm.
but I feel like Turkey
Turkey would be
is
very cool.
still within excellent running distance from anything happening. Like I'd love to go to Israel and Jordan and well, I mean Iraq, Iran, all of these places because of the history, but like it
I mean,
feels
you
unsafe
both
as hell
know.
over there.
You both know. Me and like I am I'm a person of faith. There's so much history there related to that for me that I would love to experience and see. So,
Yeah.
like, that'd be really, really cool to see. But yeah, like with the world the way it is right now, not really possible at the moment.
Yeah, and I
And
know my dad desperately wants to go to Egypt, and you just can't right now.
yeah, Egypt. I've heard a lot of stories that while it's cool to see, it's not the safest at times. That's for sure. Which I
Yeah,
hate to hear because I definitely would like to see that as well.
same. And
Um,
maybe in our lifetimes, it'll be something that we're able to do. But
yeah,
right now, and my dad fears because he's getting on in ages that he'll never have that opportunity. He's already told me that like it's one thing that I should definitely do on his behalf, and I keep saying, "Look, man, it's not up to me. It's up to whether or not I feel safe enough to go."
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's like there. I would like to see. I don't know what the state of this is currently because y'all know I don't really follow news or anything like that. I always really wanted to see Moscow. I thought Moscow would be really cool to see.
Yeah, probably not the best time, if I'm
Yeah,
honest.
probably not the best time. So, but
And
like you said, we're all in the age range that we're young enough that there's still plenty of time in our lives for things to calm down again and for us to be able to go. So,
just so,
Yeah.
just so.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping one day I get to see these places that are currently as of this day of recording are just not feasible places to go.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
those fucking vampires with stone masks in Egypt right now. Just such a fucking shame.
I
If only there
wasn't
was
ready
a
for the pillar,
party.
man.
If only there was a party that go to Egypt to take care of the problem or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Salvador.
Tokiwa Tomadeo.
No, no, not him. No, 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 not him at all. He would make the
Sorry.
problem infinitely worse.
No, I think I pick him. I think I'm on his side.
I reject my humanity, Jojo.
I reject my humanity. uh,
I lied.
um,
There are maybe two places in France. One I cannot afford. Full stop. The other I probably still can't afford.
Where
I
are
forget.
they?
I consistently forget this is a thing. But I would like to go to Nice,
Oh
and I
yeah,
would also
yeah.
like to
Nice.
go to Monaco.
Yeah.
ooh, Monaco would be cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't afford those places. But if I had
That's
to go
fair.
someplace in France, that would be it.
Yeah. If you
I saw somebody do a live stream, an IRL walk through France. Um, and at least the part of France they were like in Paris they were in because they were in Paris. It looked really nice. So I
No,
was just like,
Paris is
oh,
beautiful. Again, I don't have anything against France. I just don't feel any strong pull to it. Like France has Paris, it has Montpellier, has Marseille, Lyon. No, yeah, yeah, it has all of that. It's got so many nice places in it. I just don't, you know, care.
yeah, that's fair.
fair, I guess. Yeah, valid.
But like, if you have an interest in it, like you would not want, especially once you get away from Paris into the countryside. There's so many nice places. My father studied like wine out there. He has like the whole fucking sommelier nonsense.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
It sounds cool. It is fucking obnoxious, and it unfortunately cursed this whole family with the idea of what good wine tastes like. So now there is no getting cheap wine ever.
So what you're telling
No
me
more
is
green
I need to come
bags.
visit you and have your father teach me about wine.
No, because he would send you to France. He would send you somewhere in God, where was it? I guess it was probably Bordeaux.
I'm not opposed to this.
Wine.
Well, he would send you there. He wouldn't fund it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but still, any inside tips you can give me about there?
I'm sure.
Goes
Yeah.
a long way.
Fuck, my father would sit you down for hours. Jesus.
uh, it's funny. I see so many pictures of just different random towns in Europe, and it's all like Europe and Greece specifically, and it's always just like, oh, that looks so beautiful. I want to go. I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in terms of like just the way it looks, that's my feelings on no shit, just the Netherlands.
The Netherlands would be great.
I just want to walk and bike around the Netherlands because I think it's in the correct location and has been built up in such a way that it seems just a pleasant place to exist in.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, like someplace nearer to the water. I mean, it's just
Forest Dam.
absolutely
Mountain
stunning.
Dam. Yeah.
Was Did you have anything specifically in Europe that stood out to you, Nat? I didn't. I don't know if I heard you say anything.
Not necessarily anything specific. Just around the region of for Northern Europe is I already forgotten the name. Sweden
Norway?
and Norway. Thank you. And the more inward, I want to say, is Greece. Again, not really anything particular, just, around Greece.
Right, right. I think we've hit someplace in almost every continent, uh, besides Antarctica and South America, and like I don't think there's as much that much to see in Antarctica. Somebody feel free to tell me if I'm wrong,
As someone who
but
has unironically experienced Arctic winds blowing up from down there up to Australia, nah, fuck that, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm right there
uh,
with you, Nat. I have no drive.
Also,
what
fuck
about
polar
South
bears.
America?
Just no thanks. And salt and polar bears as well, no. I'm good.
What about South America? Anything in South America on
It's
Uh,
y'all's radar?
it's kind of fucked up, but South America suffers so much poor politics and so much just like misinformation from America. Or maybe it's not even misinformation, but the PR teams have done a great job of really not wanting me to want to experience anything in there. And yet,
come to
no,
Brazil.
I still want to like spend a bunch of time in Brazil and
Come to
Chile.
Brazil.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
Argentina as
really,
well. Like definitely Argentina as well. Let's just not even be silly.
yeah, I really want to see Rio. I would love to go to Rio.
It's I don't know. Like I would just unironically feel really uncomfortable in like Colombia, Venezuela.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If I was like actually like if I was protected and strapped, yeah, I'd probably go to South Africa. Not South Africa. South
Yeah,
America.
the world just has done such a good job of painting them as like villains. And to be fair, it's because a lot of villainous shit happens. But
True,
Yeah.
sad truth, but I mean,
but
I
yeah, like
know.
it's still beautiful all throughout South America. Like, I wouldn't mind going pretty deep down into Argentina. And like I said, I'm not keen on the cold. And goodness gracious, I think the easiest way to get to Antarctica is probably from the southern tip of Argentina.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
would like to see Argentina as well. Like, there's a lot down there I want to see as well, but like you said, it's not painted in a great picture, like a safe picture at least. So it's never been super high on my list, but there is
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
places I want to see there. Like the most obvious one I could think of, like I already said, is Rio. I think of Rio when I think of places I want to go to South America. So,
Yeah.
I'd
um,
like to go to Brasilia, like the actual capital of Brazil. Um,
mhm.
I guess like Buenos Aires, but like just I mean, no
There's a
reason
lot
not to
of
say it.
cool, like historical like ruins and things that you can find there, like in
Yes,
some of the mountains that'd be so cool that you can go up and see. I'd love to see
they're
that.
they do seem to be a pain in the ass to get to, but my goodness, they seem to be well. I was gonna say they seem to be well kept, but if I recall, they've had issues with people stealing shit from them because, of course,
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, it's not painted in the safest picture, but there are definitely things I want to see there. I would like to
for
see
sure.
eventually.
In an ideal world, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure, yeah, in an ideal world. Also, just to throw it out there, feel the need to mention, I want to go to Canada too. I like, if anything, I have friends there. I want to go and see.
Why would you just
Um,
go to cold America?
I like the cold.
I
Um,
don't. I would love to just have them down here, but
Bro's gotta get the fucking Tim Hortons.
but yeah,
look,
I'd love to
nothing
go to
against
Canada.
Tim's. Tim's is great.
I've never had it, so I don't know. I'm just throwing fucking shade. Blindly throwing shade.
Matter of fact, Canada's one of the spots where we could actually literally train
Just
across
drive
country
to.
no
Oh yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, I thought about this when you were talking about it earlier when we were talking about America. There are two still really big train lines in the states that are passengers. One of them is
Yes,
a coast to coast train, like not perfect coast to coast.
I think it ends
There's
up in
one,
Chicago actually.
yeah, but it's I know it's like on like the north-ish half of the states, but it is a coast to coast train, which is pretty cool. And there's a train that I don't know where it starts at in the States, but it goes up to Alaska. So,
Oh, I don't know
um,
that one though. That's interesting. I'm not actually.
yeah,
I in hindsight, I'm not surprised. It seems like the best way to get there because
yeah,
that whole route's going to be so beautifully scenic.
it's it's one that my grandma used to say she always wanted to go on, and she never did. And so, me and my mom were like, "Well, we'll do that for one of our family vacations. We'll do the train ride to Alaska for you." But she's just like, "No, I'm not doing any more vacations, y'all. I'm too old for this." We're like, "Come
I
on,
feel that. Fair enough.
you are just fine. You get up and you cook and you gripe and complain at the children running around. You can go sit on a train and enjoy a ride."
I can imagine not wanting to have to travel all the way across the country to then get on a train. Like, I understand where she's coming from. She should do it, mind you. But I do
I think she
understand
should
the
do it.
mindset.
If anything, I will make sure in my life I'm able to do it for her. If anything,
Yeah.
Sure.
but yeah, I know when it comes to travel, it's something I've thought about a lot recently because I'm at this point. This just a couple months ago, this last year, I hit 30, so I'm just like, all right, I'm tired of where I live. I'm tired of this.
Oh,
I'm
fucking
you
tell me
know
about it, Matt. I'm also
I'm
tired where the
getting
fuck I live as well.
I'm hunting work. I'm trying to put up money, and I'm just like, the moment I'm able, I'm on a plane. I'm gone. I'm going to explore and see because there's so very much to explore and see in this world. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it gets difficult when we want to do it now that we're in our 30s. Travel, I
Yeah,
mean, just for us, it's more expensive to travel now than it ever has been. It's also more restrictive to travel now than it ever has.
Yeah.
And we have to
yeah,
take so much into account. There's the flight or the train trip, food and lodging, enough money to do things while you're there, emergency funds in case, God forbid, anything happens.
And then fucking the political atmosphere and all that shit as well.
There's that, and not to mention, it's just being able to take that time off work as Americans, specifically. I think we don't get like that guaranteed time off. Like, that's not a thing that we have for us. Like, any time we take off is um more often than not at our detriment.
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
And honestly, sometimes it's hard just to get that time off anyway, because
Yeah.
someone higher up does have to say yes. And God forbid you're freelance. Anytime you're not spent working, you're now most definitely not safe because money isn't being made. It's not like
Yeah.
paid time off.
Yeah,
So yeah, like being in your 30s, 40s is rough. The sweet spots to travel, I genuinely believe, are once you just left high school. Like, I think going straight into college, if you're not like fully accepted by the college and getting a free ride, is stupid. I think you
Hmm.
should take a year off to travel. I think it would make a lot of Americans better people. I would think it would make the left less far to the left and make the right less far to the right. It would bring us back to, oh yeah, we're all just people at the end of the day. It's nice to be reminded of this. And
Ew,
of course,
people,
and
fuck
it
that.
once you retire, it's fucking brilliant because then you've set yourself up for this.
I think it definitely, if you're doing it when you're younger, it helps broaden your perspective in a lot of things. So I full agree to that. Being able to do it when you're younger is better in the long run, but not to dissuade anybody in our age range
No,
from
for
doing it.
sure.
Yeah, like
If you can, definitely do it. Please take me
if you
with you.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so broke.
I think my brother's. Yeah, my brother just. I was talking to him last night. He said he's going over to I think Germany for something to do with work next week. And I'm like, yeah, can I just hide in your suitcase? And he's like, sure. I mean, I guess I don't mind for sneaking you in my suitcase and getting arrested for literal human
Human
trafficking,
trafficking. Yeah.
technically. And I'm just like, oh, it's fine.
I
Nobody'll
consented. It's
notice.
fine.
I consented.
Exactly. It's
I think at that point it
fine.
stops being human trafficking. I think it just becomes a customs violation.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's travel when you're able for sure. There's so much to see. Like I understand. I wholly understand. Living in your if you're from a small town, you whatever, and that small town life, I get it. And I'm not saying go live somewhere else, but go and see. Just having that experience to see, I think goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just it can really.
Broaden your horizons.
Yeah, they can
It
broaden
sure
your
can.
horizons. The world is it's weird. Like the world is both bigger than you think and smaller than you think, and depending on the context. So there's a lot to see, and uh, I know I have so many things I want to see. Um, and since it was decided that I would live, and since I made it to 30, I've decided I'm not going until I get to see some of these things. So good luck, Earth. You're stuck with me for a while.
Yeah, fucking tell her, Matt.
Any other things y'all want to throw in there about travel?
Obviously, I didn't mention it mostly because we just, well, at least I assumed it. But obviously, I want to travel to America. Uh, not for the tourist stuff, like, oh, I want to go to New York and do New York things. No, I want to just like go to America to do like Fan Fest or fucking what's the other convention that I just something hack, Dream Hack,
DreamHack.
and obviously hang out with you guys and all that.
Hell yeah. Games
I
Developer Conference happens in San Francisco. Apparently it's a good time. I didn't know that. I might go to the next one if I can.
I'm just saying we should find some kind of con or something going on here in the states, and all find a way there and hang out.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Nat has not got to hang out with either of us like in person, and it's been far too long since me and Dalit have hung out in person. So
It's true.
Yeah, would love to hang out at
also, I
DreamHack and all that.
just saying, I never actually got my selfie with Dalit when we last met up. I got it with like literally everybody else, but I did not get one with Dalit.
That's fucked
Yeah,
up,
because
man.
my hotel was so far away. It was
Yeah,
a great spot though, I'll tell you what.
it was nice. It was nice. I got plenty of pictures with Dalit in them. I did not get a selfie with Dalit.
Yeah,
Like
because I pretty
how did
much
this
it would
happen?
take me forever to get there if I didn't Uber in, and by that time, like the group had been assembled because everyone else was living at the con. I was the one who was like 2 miles away.
It was either they were living at the con or we were across the street at that one. Because there was the one right across the street where I was staying.
Right.
Felice and Ethis were staying. Uh, Somebody else was too. I don't remember who though.
So yeah, like I would always meet up, and the group would have been assembled, and I was like, "Nah, I'll just meet you at said spot."
The only exclusion to that is when we all went to Dalit's and played Soul Calibur.
It's true. Invited everyone over. It would like I
We ordered pizza and played Soul Calibur.
Fuck
I
yeah,
stayed
that sounds
there.
awesome.
I purposefully when I travel, I tend to spend a bit extra on accommodations and travel because I love to be in a place. I hate going to that place because I live in America and there are no trains.
Right, yeah.
So I hate flying, and it's not because I'm afraid of the plane's gonna fall out of the sky. No, I understand that. Like I just hate being trapped in this little fucking seat for anywhere from 30 minutes to 16 bloody hours. And yeah,
I
it
was
drives me
also
insane.
gonna mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I fucking hate traveling. I love the travel. Like, I love to be in the place.
Yeah.
And when I'm in the place, I make sure that I want a place that I can be comfortable in case I don't enjoy myself out there. And like maybe I go like we'll just use Las Vegas. Like I don't drink, I don't gamble. There was a good chance that on a night where everyone didn't meet up, I was going to be miserable in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So I made sure to have a spot that I would be exceptionally comfortable in. Now, granted, this spot ended up being so much bigger than I expected. Great for the price. And so yeah, I was able to have everyone over, and if I had known I was going to have everyone over, I could have even have cooked. There was a full kitchen, and that could have been
Oh,
fun. But nope, we got pizzas because
lazy.
surprise, let's
It
just go
was
chill at my place.
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of like we talked about wanting to do it, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to make it work. And then Dot was like, "Well, we have the room here," so that's what we did. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like the traveling side of it too. Like if you're in the car, I don't drive. I don't really care for driving, that's for sure. But like if
See,
you're in the
I'm
car,
always the driver.
and I will drive if need be. In fact, there's a chance a weekend from now that we have to go. My nephew, his wife, and my sister might be going up to Michigan to pick up. Um, I say my other nephew, but it's my nephew's like best friend since they were kids, uh, and bringing him back down here. And I might be going with them just because they might need an extra set of
Just an
hands.
extra driver, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm like I'm not confident in driving like that distance, but I'll do it because I'm not I'm gonna help, and I also if my nephew needs me, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just a pain in the ass, literally, and the ankle.
yeah, but there's also like sometimes just when you're driving, and I know this just from it happening before, you just stumble across some really quaint or really nice things that you wouldn't see otherwise. Uh, so it's another reason why like the idea of just road trip with a group of friends is like just such a appealing idea to me because you set a destination in mind, you'll go, and then you're like, oh hey, look at what we found. This is really cool activity. Let's stop and do it or
Yeah,
whatever.
but I'm
It's
I'm
it's
I'm Californian. I don't want to just drive for the sake of driving. It's like $5 a gallon here.
um outside of driving, I don't know. I really enjoy flying because that's when I catch up on all my movies. Like
Look,
on long
if I can
flights
get
is I
like
just
an
catch up on my
economy
movies.
plus seat, it doesn't need to be business class. I would love a business or first class seat, but I can't afford that. If I can like an economy plus where I can like stretch my legs a little bit, I'm more than happy. But I I fucking hate being jammed into itty bitty little seats, and I travel alone a lot. So with two complete strangers next to me, it drives me insane. Can't I'm never comfortable.
So, because this is a perfect chance to tell this story, and I feel like I should tell it on this episode if ever. When I left FanFest, okay, I had to take a flight from Vegas to Atlanta to go from Atlanta to where I live. On my like everybody else was already gone by the time I had to be there for my flight that Monday morning. So I woke up, I checked out of the hotel, I got an Uber to the airport, and got on my plane. I got the window seat, and then a mom and her daughter sat next to me. The daughter was immediately next to me. The mom was in the aisle. Two strangers. I had no idea who they were. I mean, they didn't really say anything to me. I didn't really say anything to them. No big deal. I uh, watched a movie because it was a longer flight. So I watched a movie, and that still left like an hour ish on the flight after a movie. Maybe it was 2 hours ish. And so I kind of just put my head against uh, the wall looking out the window, and I ended up falling asleep. But I was, when you travel long ways, you learn very quickly dress comfortably. Don't need to look nice. You just need
Correct.
to be comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was wearing sweatpants, and I had my phone in my pocket on my right side. And my phone had my ticket information and all of that stuff on it. Like I didn't have a physical ticket or whatever. Uh, and I fell asleep sitting there for that last like hour ish plus. Well, while I was asleep, my phone fell out of my pocket.
Uh
The
oh.
little girl sitting next to me, she couldn't have been older than maybe 6 or 7, saw it start to fall and caught it, and then sat there and held on to it until we landed. And I woke up and she handed it to me and told me that, what happened.
She's good
That,
people.
that,
Sweet little
it,
girl.
I
that
know, right? If
if
it
I
was
lost my
anyone
phone,
else.
yeah, if I had lost my phone, I would have been stranded in Atlanta. Now, mind you, that's not a terrible thing. One of our friends lives right outside of Atlanta. He
Yeah.
was already home, and on top of that, Atlanta's not a terrible drive, but it still would have been awful. Like all things said, it would have been awful. Just I'm stuck here for who knows how many hours, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, she caught my phone and just held on to it until I woke up to return it to me. And I just, first off, I was shocked out of my mind, but I was so thankful. Like I thanked her, I thanked her mom. I was just like, man, I wish I didn't just leave Vegas and I had no cash on me because I just left Vegas. Because I would have 100% like just dished out some money and be like, here's a reward because you just saved my life. Like everything was on this phone. I would have been up the creek without a paddle. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would have been screwed.
Yeah.
So, but that's another reason I kind of like traveling is like I'm not super opposed is the just the chance for small little encounters like that. Like it was just a really cool encounter. It makes a really cool
Very
story.
cool.
So,
Very cool. Great
yeah.
story. I feel like it could happen without the 10-hour plane ride.
Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a plane ride on that one, but that's why I like the process of traveling too. So, but yeah. Any other like thoughts or questions y'all want to put out there for traveling?
Why is it so expensive? We should all be
I
traveling
mean,
all. I know why it's so expensive.
yeah.
But literally by traveling, you become a better person. You just learn more about yourself because man, when you put yourself in uncomfortable or new positions, you always learn something new about yourself, and you learn about someone else. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone specific, but you learn about another culture. But it's always a good thing. Everyone should do it if they're given the opportunity. And honestly, more people should be given the opportunity if they don't have it.
Yeah, fuck it. Make traveling around the entire world just free. Fuck it. Why not?
I mean, look, I'm not saying I wouldn't love that to pieces.
Same.
I just know that that's a
Same.
possibility for sure.
Yeah.
Get the hot air balloons. Get the hot air balloons. We
But
can
I'm telling
make it in
you,
80 days.
I mean, I don't think we've talked about it in this conversation, but like best superpower, teleportation,
Right there. Yep.
not ever having to have been to the place before. Yeah, that would be it. I would just want to be able to go there. Now, that still causes a couple of issues because technically you're not from there and you'd have to money change and hopefully you know the language, but still step one. Easy.
Yeah.
Not even in question.
True.
I would be
Teleportation,
obnoxious
best
to my
superpower.
friends.
I would be. I would cause so much trouble for my friends. Like I would. Nat would never be happy with me.
I'll be like, oh, what the fuck? Why are you in my room?
God, it would make recording this
Bro,
easier.
I'm like, can at least give me like a
so
5 minute
good.
heads up. I'm kind of, doing something here right now.
Yeah. No, I'd wait till Nat's streaming and just pop up behind him, give him like a bop on the back of the head, and I'm gone. Like he would. I'd so fast he never saw me.
Bro, that's how you
But he'd know it
develop
was me.
schizophrenia.
That's what I'm shooting for.
Will happen. It will happen.
Harassing my friends. It's a special talent. I'm great at it. Maybe that's why I have so few of them. But that's neither here nor there.
But yeah, no, I really have nothing else to add on. No questions other than, as Dolan says, why is everything so fucking expensive?
It doesn't even need to be free. Just make it fucking reasonable, please. Like my
Yeah,
family
make it
tells
reasonable.
all these stories about their trips all over the world, how they were able to do this, that, and the other. And I'm sitting here thinking, can I even make it more than a couple states away without like actually being
In the
zero,
red.
being like negative on my bank account?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, honestly. I want to be that person that just tells people about stories traveling around the world, like telling my nieces and nephews that.
Like I said, Bourdain had the dream job. I understand he was internally very torn up as an individual, but like what he did for work was astounding.
my nephew's son is only a year old. I would love that, when he's like 7 or 8, I could like regale him with stories of, travels I've taken around the world. That'd be
And
so cool.
dragons you've slain and all that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right. Well, listeners, we really appreciate you hanging out with us and listening to us talk about some of our dreams of traveling and that kind of thing. It's one of those, just ideal things to talk about because I'm sure a lot of people have places they want to see or things they want to do. So,
Yeah.
I think that applies not just to us, but to all of you listening as well. So if you have places you really want to see or really want to do, maybe you should let us know down in the comments, YouTube, Spotify, or you can let us know over on Twitter at Celestia Radio PD, or use the hashtag AskCRP for any thoughts, questions you want to share about any of this, just like in the comments. Or if you have a topic idea, you can leave it at the hashtag as well. And yeah, it's been fun. And if you take anything away from this, go travel. And just like you should
If
go
you can.
travel, you should go share if you can, of course. And just like if you should go travel, you should go share this with your friends and let them know we're here because that's the best way to show us some love. And we would greatly appreciate it. So until next time, see you then.
Take care, everyone.
Be good now.